Hey guys, as I was leaving my last chat, or my last live rather, someone threw up two comments. One was white trash beautiful, and then the next one was redneck trash. Now, what this does is prompt an educational response, an educational rant. Because, contrary to popular belief, some rednecks are educated. Contrary to popular belief, let's just get to it. Okay? You might be a redneck if you're proud to be a redneck, right? That's the saying. Redneck is a term that is usually used to describe a white person from a geographical area, usually the South. A person who is usually assumed to be behind in culture or lacks sophistication and isn't aware or doesn't care or who is poor. But let me tell you, however, we rednecks know exactly who we are, and we are beyond the superficial need to be socially accepted. Rednecks descended from those of Celtic origin, from Scots, from Irish, from Welsh, and other places. Did you know that those people were known as Ulster Scots and Lowland Scots? And they immigrated here to the Appalachians from Scotland and Northern Ireland, beginning way back in the 17th century. They settled into the Appalachian Mountains in the foothills, and they were seeking freedom from the King of England, and they were seeking religious freedom. And when they arrived here, they brought lots of culture with them. All the culture that you see was brought with them. They were herdsmen, they were farmers, they were fierce warriors. And you know what else they brought with them? Was vast religious devotion. You talk about the Bible Belt in the South. That was brought with them. It really was. They were some dedicated folks. Dedicated folks. There was this thing in 1705 called the Test Act. And it required all civil and government employees to pass a test of allegiance to the Catholic Church, to the Protestant Church. And this story kind of brings us back full circle to the origins of the first use of the term redneck. And I can't believe that I have to get so mad that I have to rant on where the term redneck was first used. Okay, but it first appears in text around 1638. You realize how long ago that was? That was like way back in the 17th century. That was a long time ago when the word redneck was first used. Okay? And it was used by the Scottish Covenanters. And that was an independent movement created by Scotland's Presbyterian church warriors in response to King Charles I's attempts to control the church and religion, and it caused the Protestant Presbyterian War. And this group of Covenanters signed the National Covenant in their own blood, symbolizing their oath to their religion and not to the King of England. Some of them wore red rags, cloths, and bandanas around their necks as a statement to everyone. And people began to recognize them and refer to them as rednecks. Hey, Crystal. And that's how we got to the term redneck, was this brave group of men that wanted to break away from the king and the king shoving just one certain religion down their throats. Those are my ancestors. Those are the people that settled here in these foothills that I am proud to have been raised in. So I guess, back to my first statement, you might be a redneck if you're proud to be a redneck. So I guess I'm proud to be a redneck. Call me that if that's what you so choose. And let me tell you, just because we're rednecks and we don't care if we're socially accepted or not by the rest of society, does not mean that we are uneducated, racist, stupid, uncultured, because we have more culture than most of the rest of the Americas. Because let me tell you, nobody has the backbone that we have. It was by these same men's grandchildren's blood that we won the American Revolutionary War. And who do you think taught those children and grandchildren what making an oath and a promise meant? These same guys right here that signed that oath in blood. The same guys that says, no, we want freedom of religion. We want freedom of choice. Even if we have to flee our homelands to do it. And they did. And does that make me a racist? Does that make me white trash? Nope, sure don't. They brought with them the different flags of these countries that I've mentioned. The Scots, the Irish, the Welsh, the others. The St. Andrew's flag that we refer to as the Confederate flag. You know, it started off as the Scottish flag, just the blue and the white. But St. Andrew was hung on a cross in that direction, and that meant something to the Scottish people. And when the Confederate flag was being made, they made it just like the Scottish flag in honor of St. Andrew, and they call it the St. Andrew's flag. And it still means something to these Scottish people, and it means something besides being a racist. Racist has nothing to do with redneck pride. Hey, Darlene. And I'm sorry I'm on a rant tonight, but I did not appreciate those comments that I was left. But that is about all I've got to say about this. And so I'm just going to ask you people that's been raised in the Appalachians and the foothills, and even some of the Scottish people that landed in the, what do you call it, up around Massachusetts and places like that. Are you proud to be a redneck? Because it was these men that broke away from this tyranny that built this part of the country. Matter of fact, probably built the eastern part, the southeastern part of the United States as we know it today, and brought all the culture with it. Your Scottish ancestors, your Irish ancestors, your Welsh ancestors, and many, many others. So be careful what you call people. Try to have some respect for other people and other people's culture, other people's way of life. And just because it's a little different from yours doesn't mean it's any less than yours. Well, like I said, this is not all about the rebel flag. It is more about the word redneck. But I'm just telling you that the roots of the rebel flag was based upon the Scottish flag and Saint Andrew, a real person. A real person who hung on that cross in that shape. And the reason that the cross is in an X shape is because he said that he did not deserve to be hung on a cross like Jesus. And he chose to be hung in the X shape. And that meant something to my ancestors. So that St. Andrew's flag means more to me in terms of my ancestors than it ever means being a race bearing flag. We have black folks from the Appalachians that flies that flag. And like I said, I have several flags out there. The tattoo that I've got on the back of my neck is the Scottish flag. It's just blue and white. The blue and white St. Andrew's flag. And that's the one that I choose to fly personally because that goes back to my roots. But I do know that that is why a lot of people still fly the Confederate flag because it is the St. Andrew's flag and it goes back to our roots. Has nothing to do with race. Nothing. And believe me, I know. Being an EMT up here, I know just about everybody up here. And oh, and let me tell y'all, after the war was over, after the Civil War was over, we had a lot of Confederates go to South America and settle and live. And they took the flag with them. They married South American women. They had South American children. And look, just Google the word Confederados and look at the Confederate flag spread across South America today. and see what it means to those people before you say anything else about race. Google the word Confederado. Because I also have Confederate ancestors that did that. And they went to South America by the droves because they did not want to live in the South anymore with the Union rule. So they just moved to South America and they married South American women and they had South American children. So just Google Confederado. And see what the Confederate flag means to their heritage. It's a trip. But anyway, my rant's over. And I will see you guys later. Love you guys.